You voted no on the House transportation budget. Why?
Well, there were a couple of concerns that I had with it. Really the biggest one is we had a cap on the amount that they could spend on the 520. And the budget allows them to exceed that cap. And to me, if we're going to set a cap, we need to stick to the cap. And they need to figure out where to find the savings for the cost overruns on the 520, rather than taking it out of other projects or bonding for a longer period of time. And I think that's a better way of doing it. I really have a problem with setting a cap and then saying, okay, we'll let you exceed it. And that's really the biggest reason why I voted against the budget, is because it does authorize additional spending for the 520 and puts it above that cap.
In the Finance Committee this week, you considered the majority party's tax proposals. You voiced your frustration about lack of attention to job creation in districts like yours. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, and it's kind of a controversial issue on the non-resident sales tax exemption. And it hits primarily in Southwest Washington in the form of Oregonians shopping in Washington and not paying sales tax, while the citizens who live in Washington have to pay that sales tax. The issue here is if we take that exemption away from them and tell them you have to pay the tax if you shop here, then they will say, okay, I won't shop here. And we have real problems in Southwest Washington with chronic high unemployment. We're losing retailers. We just lost a Sears store in Kelso a year ago. And I'm really concerned that if we do this, with Longview Kelso being the retail sector for the Lower Columbia region, where it provides the retail avenue for St. Helens, Oregon, Rainier, Oregon, Clatskanie, Oregon, if we start charging those folks sales tax, suddenly they're not going to come shop, and our retailers are going to see greater losses, and we're going to see more retailers closing. And that's really problematic. At the same time that they're passing a bill to destroy jobs in Southwest Washington, they are failing to pass a bill that would create jobs in Southwest Washington. So I'm really concerned about what the majority is doing up here when they're opting to kill jobs and opposing creating jobs in Southwest Washington.
A panel of experts just released a report on the State Route 99 viaduct replacement and had some criticism for the State Department of Transportation. What's your reaction?
Well, first of all, I'm pleased with some of the things in the expert review panel report. One of the things they told us is, despite the delays with Bertha, the good news about it is that when Bertha is actually tunneling, then it's actually moving faster than what we originally expected. So that kind of mitigates a little bit for the downtime that we've got, and hopefully they can get that up and moving again fairly soon. It looks like it may be September before they get it going, but at least when it does get going, it can start to make up some of that lost time. So that's a good thing. They also said that the contingency that we have is fine as long as there are no diversions from it. And so we need to be really careful, and we need to make sure that there's not any change in the scope or anything else that diverts money out of that contingency. The thing that really concerned me about the report was the relationship between Seattle Tunnel Partners, the company that's doing the tunneling, and DOT, and that those relations are very much strained. And that falls right on the head of our secretary for the way her department is working with Seattle Tunnel Partners, or in this case, really not working very well, because there's a tremendous amount of friction. And that is really the biggest risk to getting this project completed right now. So DOT really needs to step up, work on those relationships, get more into a typical model of having one primary liaison doing the communication with Seattle Tunnel Partners rather than having a number of different people doing it. It needs to be much better coordinated than it has been, and there needs to be much less friction.